All right, welcome in. This guest, I think he's phenomenal. I think he's phenomenal with his coverage of college softball. I think he's one heck of a play-by-play voice for UCF softball. Loved his call of UCF over Michigan on Sunday to clinch the first ever Super Regional for the team. Eric Lopez, he's been on with us before. He's our guest. Eric, as always, appreciate it. Patty Gasso earlier this week was asked about UCF. And she said, they're a gritty team. They're a tough team. They're good in the circle. They know how to manufacture runs. Not going to hit for a lot of power. Maybe two hitters in the order that can hit home runs. Do you think that that's a fair assessment of what this UCF team is?
I think a little bit, yeah. I mean, I don't think this is a team that depends on a long ball. I think they like to manufacture runs in different ways, whether it be with a Jada Cody, a Shannon Doherty has provided some power there. Ashley Griffin has some pop, but they also have speed. When you think of a Michaela McCarrill, a Denali Shotpocker, they have some speed as well. So it's a diverse type of an offense that's got a little bit of everything. So I think Coach Gasso is pretty accurate. And they are very tough grinded. They are a team that will battle through every out and every scenario. This is a team that's come from behind in many scenarios to come back and win. So you're going to earn it against UCF.
Now, you know a lot about this OU softball team. I know you've been watching them a ton this year. Where do you think UCF could give OU a lot of issues or some issues this weekend in the Super Regional?
Well, I'm very interested to see how Cindy Ball Maloney, UCF, decide to pitch to Oklahoma. Kamal Woodall type keeps the ball down. How does Oklahoma adjust to that? I'm very interested in seeing that. I'm interested to see, obviously, with all the questions in the circle for Oklahoma, how does UCF attack the Oklahoma pitching? Can they get ahead of Oklahoma? Keep in mind, UCF beat Texas. It's one of the teams that beat Oklahoma. They've seen a lot of that tape. They've seen tape of the Oklahoma State-Oklahoma game. So I think they feel they have an idea what they got to do. But, of course, when you're playing Oklahoma, it's a lot easier to say what you got to do and actually execute it.
Yeah, UCF beat Texas. They beat Virginia Tech in a game earlier this year. Game one was a really close 1-0 game. Played Florida State, played Florida, played Georgia. I'm rattling off the schedule to you like you weren't there every single game and you don't know. But that tough non-conference that they played the who's who of the Southeast, how much has that prepared them to play like an environment that they're going to see this weekend? How big was that?
Big, huge. First of all, without that schedule, they don't have the opportunity to put themselves in position to host. That's number one. Number two, to your point, they're going to be battle tested. They've faced everybody. They faced teams on the road and neutral fields, you name it. So I don't think they're going to be in awe of going to Oklahoma because they've played top teams. I think this was a team that's going to play loose. I think they know that all the pressure's on Oklahoma, and they know that nobody's going to give UCF a chance. And I think they kind of like that. They're going to have that chip on the shoulder that, you don't think we have a shot, so watch this. So I think they're going to be ready.
Yeah. I don't know what you've heard about Jordy Ball or what your opinion is on her going into this weekend. I'm still very iffy on if she's going to pitch. Sounds like they've gotten some good news here recently. I still think if she pitches, it'll be in Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series if OU makes it there. How much does your opinion on this series, though, shift if Jordy Ball's not available at all?
I don't know if it shifts drastically. Obviously, I think Jordy Ball, what we've learned about Oklahoma is with Jordy Ball, Oklahoma might go down as one of the great teams of all time. Without Jordy Ball, they're still the team to beat.
Yeah.
But there's a little more extra room for error, right? Like I feel like that's what we've learned. I mean, what a job Hope Troutwine has done and Nicole May and everybody did in the regional. I think that's been huge for Oklahoma. But I still think, to me, for the exclamation point, maybe not in this regional, but for the big picture, I still think they need Jordy Ball to win the national title because I think Arkansas is legit. All right. They've got a 1-2 punch in the circle and they have an incredible offense. I think Virginia Tech is still very good. Let's not forget UCLA. They're still UCLA.
Yep.
So I still think Jordy Ball is very important in this picture. And can you really wait to get her back to Oklahoma City? I just wonder. I don't know. Maybe obviously may not have a choice. We'll see what happens this weekend. But she's still very valuable. I think teams, because as long as she's not pitching, I think there will be teams that believe they could beat Oklahoma.
What comes along with being the number one overall seed and being in this discussion of greatest team ever is the pressure that comes along with it. Is there any chance that, seeing as UCF making their first ever super regional appearance, is there any chance that that's some sort of an advantage? Because, Eric, I mean, everything from here on out is kind of icing on the cake. Is there an edge for UCF that they come in here with maybe not a whole lot of pressure in terms of the national perspective?
Well, I think you make a point. There's not a ton of pressure. At the same time, I think if they could go in here and steal game one, all of a sudden, all the pressure's on Oklahoma. Now the storylines really change. It's like, wait, maybe they could pull off this stunner and get to Oklahoma City and shock the world. That's what game one will be all about. And I'll be interested to see how both teams handle a game one from that standpoint. Who pitches, who gets off to the lead. We'll know after game one whether we have a series or not in the Supers, and we have a developing story or not. I think that's, to me, game one will tell the story on Friday.
In the In the Circle podcast that you released this week, which, by the way, I highly urge everyone to go listen to that, you were as stunned as the rest of us on what happened this past weekend. Florida State going down. I mean, Alabama going down, the craziness that happened in the regional. But now that we have the super regional set, I'm curious on your opinion on two particular super regionals. First off, Oklahoma State and Clemson. Can Clemson go into Stillwater and steal this super regional?
I think absolutely they can. I think John Rittman has done a heck of a job at Clemson, Valerie Cagle and company. They are a threat. I still like Oklahoma State to win that because they've been there, done that. But I think it's a tight series. I think it would not surprise me if it went the distance and it went 3 games. But I'll still pick Oklahoma State. But I think it's a really, really good series.
Yeah, you got another good one in Fayetteville. Arkansas is kind of a trendy pick right now to maybe make the championship series. Texas, of course, with the big upset in the Washington Regional. Can the Horns hang tough here, or is Arkansas one of the hottest teams in the country? And if you're standing in their way, good luck.
Well, I think both. I think Texas will push Arkansas. There's a lot of pride there with Mike White and company. Haley Docini really stepped up for Texas to win that Seattle Regional. However, I like Arkansas. I'm one of those in the bandwagon that believes Arkansas could get play for the national championship. I think they have the best offense outside of Oklahoma left in this field. You look at Shanice Dells and Mary Half as a 1-2 punch. I think they're too much for Texas. I think it's another year where Texas falls short of the World Series again. I think Arkansas advances. Would it surprise me if it went the distance? No, but I think the Razorbacks will advance.
It's going to be odd to be watching Super Regional weekend and the Alabama Crimson Tide aren't involved. It's the biggest story in softball right now. What the heck is going on in Tuscaloosa, Eric, with all this madness?
It's a great question. You got players entering the portal. I mean, it is wild. And clearly the chemistry was not very good internally at Alabama. They couldn't hit the last month. And the leadership, I think, from a player standpoint, just wasn't there. And they ran into a buzzsaw in Stanford's pitching. And it was all she wrote. First time Alabama did not advance to the Super Regional in the Patrick Murphy era. It's pretty still surreal.
Hey, last one I have. You ever been in Norman before, or is this your first time?
First. I've been to Oklahoma City, but I've not been to Norman. So,
well, I'm sure everyone's going to treat you well. I know everyone's going to treat you well. Ton of respect for UCF. Everyone thinks it's going to be a really great, fun series. It's going to be a packed house. Thanks as always, Eric, and enjoy your time in Norman, man.
Hey, anytime, buddy. No problem. Appreciate it.